All right. Boy, me I tell you say, boy, sometimes I saw you have to come out and sting up the place, you know. All right, so we see the Prime Minister come make the speech yesterday. Me I watch it. Me I watch it last night. As I said before, I have that from I have it from the day before that. Yeah, man. Yes, I. All right, brother. You say everybody start on a ticket already, you know. Up, man. Can I want to wear that? Make I do that, man. Yeah, man. Nice. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, what? What? You know, there's some fire. So no one wear the boat them, but yeah, them tickets, you know, right away, you know, cause a lot of people from our UK and all kind of thing. Yankee bless. But for big you up, you know, so who now make it still hard and all kind of thing. And be a man I say harder. Be a thing, so you see me I say? Numbers. Up. See? Alright, so hear this now. Alright, let me show you a thing now. First of all, I talk about the show and them going on this. Yesterday, when you hear me, yesterday, day before yesterday, you hear me have to blaze some fire upon the opposition leader because I say, yo, when I have to come out, come talk. I would all want to get paid, you know. And Jamaica can run, so, you know. And I see your thing I talk about, you know. I'm talk about the gas, the tax where them put on it now come off. Now, we just see them just do something like two hours ago. And them attack my language. So like, you know, go in and move the little gorilla group come talk out now and the whole crew come out and attack who are shadow cabinet minister for what. Everybody come out, you know. Parallel Messi Campbell there, so Mike Michael Phillips and who again, somebody else, Julian. So, you know, one and who again guy. So them I come tell you everything. So me I say, yeah, so if you come talk for the people then. It can't be me alone as, you know. And the man I move like a big gorilla go blew him up. But be like over here. I'm one of the people them here and you have to be honest with the people them when you come talk to the people them, you know. Can't be naive. And that be glad about. See? Alright, so we hear about what I go on. Let me show you that thing now. So we hear about what I go on. Let me show you now. From before me see the Prime Minister on TV last night. Cause I watched prime time news last night and me see them cut it. And when them cut it, them bring a little thing and then them, you know, say TV general the man you know, they might show prime time news and the Prime Minister attack. And to go for your ads, them go for the ads and come back. Although them are putting measures in place. You know, like that just make the ads stay. And then when sports start now, them bring it back. And carry it back and you hear much from Sunday to Tuesday and what have you. I can't believe that. Not even that them professional, you know, professionalism. So me get it the day before. See it? Look on the date. So I'm talking yesterday Thursday and see it there, the 7th day. But this award them did have it. It can start from to the Friday. You want to read it, you see it? See it? So it can start from to the Friday. And then, you know, so I look out against the ply and everything. I look out against the CM gas price and everything. Now, I see the opposition like them. Because everybody are watching me. Like them hear what we are saying now and them just feel like if you come out, come get a speech. So I can show it. Yeah? And if someone want to come out, come talk. You have to talk for the people them. Because they can't do a lockdown. And when you do a lockdown, the people them now have no food to eat neither. And you say lockdown. So you have to talk for everybody now. Them just understand what I say. See? Them I get paid, them have to come out, come talk. No joke, nothing. Right? Alright. So I play this and then, because what I say makes sense. Yes, sir. Because I same thing I say, it's like, me I look on a mirror now, them I repeat. When I say, but that them should have a long time. You understand? Alright, so. I'm going to knock it first. So, you know, I say this I run from the thing first. So, you know, I say this. Yeah, man. This Atom Fest. Yeah? And you know, I say this. Yeah, man. This I know. You know, it's a big thing, this. This Atom Fest. Yeah? So, I'm from 3 till that and that. And you see it. Yeah, man. This Atom Fest. So, you know, I say, yeah, no troll. Let me just tell them from now, no troll. I know no troll can run in, so you know that go already. Anyway, me could just get to this, because we go back to that, you know. Okay, everybody, I make sure so them reach and things like that. See? So me could go to this right now and hear the briefing. What you mean? Yeah, man. Fall Fest, yeah, man. Fall Fest, yeah, man. Yeah, man. So hear this now. Turn on this. Watch this. Hear this now.
Hi, good morning. Let me say pleasant morning to members of the media, to those friends who are listening in. Today, the opposition, the People's National Party, will be hosting a press conference to deal with some of the topical issues that are afflicting the nation at this point in time. You will hear from the leader of the opposition, MP Mark Golding. He will be followed by the spokesperson on finance, MP Julian Robinson. Dr. Morris Guy, the spokesperson on health, is joining us virtually. He will speak next on the COVID reality. After that, you will hear from MP and spokesperson for energy, MP Paulwell, and then Michael Phillips will take us on a journey as he speaks on transportation at the end. So at this time, please make welcome the leader of the opposition, Mr. Martin.
Thank you, General Secretary Dr. Dayton Campbell.
All right, I want to listen keenly to what me attack. I them thing me a bun, and I them thing I want them come out come talk long time. Just listen keenly.
Members of the media, thank you for joining us. Thank you, colleagues, for being here. Jamaica has been enduring the worst disaster of our lifetime. The COVID-19 pandemic has taken over 1,300 lives in Jamaica, and the daily rate of deaths in August is higher than ever before. Our hospitals are overwhelmed, and our doctors, nurses, and other frontline healthcare providers are exhausted and frustrated. This unprecedented crisis needs a genuinely national response. The National Disaster Risk Management Act is the legal framework for disaster management in Jamaica. It establishes a broad-based National Disaster Risk Council chaired by the Prime Minister and including the leader of the opposition and numerous sector leaders to provide broad guidance and promote unity of purpose in confronting national disasters. Regrettably, this National Disaster Risk Management Council has not met even once since I became the leader of the opposition last year, November.
When you hear that? That even once. That's why Mark, you just tell me this. You should have come ball out this long time. See if the Prime Minister do things for the moon like it's a mafia thing, we know. Because you know, gorilla glue, you know, because we have to fling the name on your same time. And you can't so silent about it. You have to come knock out about it. All this and all that. So hear more. You notice me just burn the fire. So you see them come out now? Hear this.
In my budget presentation in March, and on each occasion that I have spoken publicly since the pandemic, I have underscored the need for an all hands on deck national response to the COVID crisis. This is a time for cooperation among all Jamaicans, for coming together to help get our country out of this disaster in the true Jamaican spirit. The PNP again affirms our willingness to play an active role in the national effort to tackle the disaster. And we are renewing today our offer to cooperate with the government in whatever ways our assistance may be sought. Indeed, just over a week ago, we made several constructive proposals in a press release to reverse the current downward spiral. We were recommending immediate expansion of the reach of the vaccination program by bringing it to community centers, churches, and schools within densely populated urban communities.
And that way I say with them thing where them I bring and them cut it off and I carry people at stadium. Me tell them say you go closer to the people, them send it out. And you see it, he must say the right things right now. You hear?
Deep rural areas where many people are unable or unwilling to travel elsewhere to get the vaccine. We recommended enabling private medical practitioners across Jamaica to provide vaccinations to their patients, as this will provide an effective additional channel for the vaccine distribution system. We strongly recommend proactively enlisting major social influencers in the society, such as leading churchmen, sports personalities, and entertainers, for strident messages to persuade hesitant Jamaicans to get vaccinated. And we suggested publicizing the testimonials of doctors in the hospitals on the front lines as to the overwhelming prevalence of unvaccinated patients amongst those who are dying or falling seriously ill in our hospitals.
So people may just hold on just for a second. Make you know say George right and must him Kamala wife with the two of them when beat her with thing. The two of them in the hospital now. Yeah, I recuperate from COVID there. One day a person junior, one must say Diamond Devil. Him must say Diamond Devil say I come up. You know just hear it, eh? Two of them, yeah. They never want to press charge from them one another as a COVID I deal with them, you know. Yeah, you understand? So them there, you know. Go on, listen to.
As that will provide stark and compelling encouragement for vaccination in our country. I am glad to see a few signs that these suggestions have been considered, and some of them indeed apparently are being adopted. It was good to see Minister Tufton and Dr. Guy, our health spokesperson, together in a video just yesterday with a common message. And again, it was good to hear some of our leading church personalities and leaders from in the church coming out publicly to endorse vaccination. It is clear, my fellow Jamaicans, that a comprehensive national vaccination process, along with personal discipline in adhering to the social distancing guidelines that we've been living with for a year and a half, are the only way that Jamaica will get out of this crisis. Now that Jamaica finally has a good supply of the vaccine, I am calling on all influences in our society to shift gear and send the message to our people that we must all take it. The risks of hospitalization and death are much, much greater for those who get COVID without the protection of the vaccine. And with the very contagious Delta variant here, all of us must assume that there is a good chance that we will get it sooner or later. So please protect yourselves, protect your families, protect your friends and loved ones and colleagues. Vaccine hesitancy is perhaps the single greatest risk to Jamaica at this time. We must listen to the science from reputable, trustworthy sources and get on board. Ladies and gentlemen, the economy has been hammered by this pandemic. It contracted in 2020 by approximately 12%, and is forecast for this year only to recover approximately half of those losses. People have lost their jobs, businesses have folded or contracted, personal savings, for those who had any, are depleted or completely used up. The Jamaican dollar has been falling by over 8% this year since January 1. Prices have been rising, and the monthly inflation in July, 1.5%, was the highest rate of inflation in the last 7 years of any month. Basic food prices, fuel and electricity prices, and basic hardware prices have risen alarmingly this year. And we have some charts that show some of these price movements.
So people when they hear everything or you me a bun. So man now because we call them out, you know, you can't put gorilla glue on your mouth. Him come and a bun it. The whole of them too. You know, one vice. Just listen.
Data are lagging. There is no doubt that poverty has been rising. People are hungry. People are suffering. We calling repeatedly for the government to do much more to help those who are struggling to survive.
Mark, so we have been calling our Lonesome been calling. Because Mark, you not talk none at all, man. You just a talk now.
Most of the relief under the CARE program ended last year, a year ago. But COVID still a keep, and people desperately need help. The government so far has failed to respond to those calls. They ran a massive budget surplus, I believe over $9 billion, for the April to June quarter just finished. And we are calling on the government to use that surplus to protect the people of this country who need help. We are calling once again for a comprehensive program of relief for the hungry, the poor, and the vulnerable across Jamaica.
No, man, him not talk. Him not talk lie right now. Who does say him talk lie? People hungry for you, man. When I talk now, that's something where I make up. When I lie, you know, so me burn them straight. So the hungry and when I talk, you have to listen good. You can't just jump and say him say lie because him not know. Him attack for poor people, them thing what me attack. Him just attack like him sit down and copy everything. And a reality, people don't have no money for buy food and them thing. There's no lie I tell. So if you say lie I tell, that mean everybody rich and everybody alright and nothing about nobody and everything. You have to listen before you say lie, you know. You understand? Don't be like that. You have to be truthful in yourself before you say lie. You understand?
Who are looking to the government for help in this period of deep strife. A recent study by Capri showed that the CARE program failed to reach many people who needed help and still need help. The flaws in the CARE program must be addressed. This time, the government must design it so that the distribution system of benefits reaches the full targeted population who need assistance, taking into account the high levels of informality in the Jamaican economy. Transportation costs have increased and fares have just been raised. This is one more burden on the people.
So you see what me I say? This is what me I talk and I preach straight. Like, Mark, just sit down and just watch. Because I like him want to put something together. Now him come out, come talk with me. I say, no. Because I remember I talk where I talk them things straight, you know. You see me I say? Yeah, man.
Time when many are already desperate. There is a tax on fuel that was used to pay for oil price insurance to protect us from spikes in the international price of oil, but is not being used for that purpose.
And hear me talk about the tax of remove. Just listen good, you know. Listen where I turn and just look all when me just go on them. Just listen good. Yeah, man.
Been calling and we call again now on the government to remove that tax to ease the plight of motorists and users of public transport. When the easing up of the restrictions for COVID was announced at the beginning of July, I said in Parliament that with the Delta variant spreading rapidly across the world, Jamaica was skating on thin ice by relaxing our social distancing rules and related protocols. What was indeed entirely predictable has come to pass, and a period of restrictions and further sacrifices has become inevitable. The Prime Minister announced more intense measures last night in response to the escalation in cases, hospitalizations, and deaths since the rules were eased up in the beginning of July. We are to endure 7 no-movement days over the coming 2 weeks. While many people will have lots of things to say about the specific measures announced by the Prime Minister, our primary objection is the lack of any support measures for the vulnerable sections of the population who will be most impacted by these no-movement days. The Prime Minister must put in place a mechanism to allow assistance to flow to the families who will be most badly impacted by the 7 days of lockdown. 4 of those 7 no-movement days are Mondays and Tuesdays, which are normal working days. Many Jamaicans hustle day to day to find food. Something must be done for them. Hourly paid workers construction workers, persons who do job work, vendors on the streets and in the markets, they will lose their income on those days. They live hand to mouth. What is to happen to them? Implementing an intense period of lockdown over the coming 2 weeks with no provision for the vulnerable who will be exposed to hunger and more desperation is thoughtless, uncaring, and frankly, reckless. A properly considered response to the crisis would have taken these critical needs into account and made provision for them. The Prime Minister and his government have failed to do so. Were the framework of the National Disaster Risk Management Act being properly used, that council of which I spoke would have ensured that a broad range of voices were at the table to make wiser decisions in response to the current crisis. Just this week, we saw the effect of the emasculation of ODPEM, an institution under the Disaster Risk Management Act, when Tropical Storm Grace battered Jamaica without any proper warnings or preparation for our people to cope. The approach of the government needs to become far more inclusive if Jamaica is to get out of the very deep crisis we are now enduring. Once again, the opposition is willing, ready, and able to play our part if we are invited to the table. Thank you.
And I'm sure to say if we are invited to the table, it can't be the opposition when I get paid and say if we invited, you should demand as an opposition say no, we and you have to point out these things and them have to, the government and opposition have to work together. And I like you for just sit down and gorilla glue. We know another thing there. You know, so if you invited and others can run this thing like it's a dance ship. Remember people life and people everything this, you know. You know them and you know. You understand? We not work with that. Now work with that.
I will now ask our spokesperson for finance, MP Julian Robinson, to develop some of the thoughts that have already been expressed in my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Comrade Leader. Good morning to members of the media and those who are joining online and listening in. From March of this year, in our budget presentations, we indicated to the government that what was on the table was insufficient to deal with the scale of need in the society and to take care of the most vulnerable who would have gone now 18 months without income or reduced income.
So if let me just stop that now. You said but them not make part tonight. But if as an opposition leader and the government are going like them now make it take part in nothing at all, you gotta come ball out to the people, them and the people them you report to, you know. You can't silent like gorilla glue up in your mouth. You understand what the people them are hear from you. So you can't sit down from November and them have accounts and then them not call nothing and them not put you in night and you just sit down there. As soon November again. You understand? I know so it work. Everybody I get paid same way, you know. I just the poor people them a suffer. And the one them can't find it hand to mouth. So you have to come out, come talk straight. We no business come just come talk and then we could have blow it up. So we know, okay, you know, so we no ramp with government or whatever, we no care who are government. You can't come take our thing like after mafia thing, boy, you know. No, sir.
At that time, we called for more to be done for that sector. Since then, things have gotten worse for many persons. While there has been some recovery in the economy, mainly as a result of the opening up of the tourism market, many persons who operate in the informal sector continue to struggle. So we are seeing persons now in August who would be at 18 months without any income. In my budget presentation, I looked at the movement in the prices of goods and services, primarily basic food items that the majority of Jamaican people have to consume. Since March, those prices have gone up even more. And in a scenario where persons either have no income or reduced income, the pressure and the burden on the most vulnerable is at its most extreme. We're not just seeing increases in food prices. We're seeing increases in gas prices. In fact, gas prices are at the highest level ever. Food prices are at the highest level ever. and hardware and construction prices are at the highest level ever. For the quarter which ended June 2021, the government projected to have a deficit of $9 billion. It has ended up with a surplus of $9 billion. It has earned more revenues, primarily through the collection of taxes on imports.
Yeah, when I collect tax man, import. So the little barrel are going on some little things, and most of the import of them I collect tax, but poor people feel it same way, and poor people family where are sending the thing them, you know. Cause for them brethren them get waiver, you know. Tell me I tell you that, you know. I hear how much money them collect. Just go and listen.
Projected, and it has spent $7.5 billion less in expenditure than it projected. But I do have some questions for the Minister of Finance. In the expenditures, have we ensured that all the outstanding arrears, for example, to the providers of services in our healthcare sector, like janitorial security services, have all those providers been paid? Because when we commenced the budget debate, there was a deficit of $6 billion owed to those persons. Have those arrears been cleared? We also know, for example, in the National Works Agency, that many of the contractors who provide services to repair roads are owed millions of dollars. Have those persons been paid? While it is important that we have a budget surplus, we need to know that the government is paying its bills. And because the government has...
I mean, Jamaica government now have not paid the bill them to the local land. You can't do it with China or foreign people, them, you know. They make you work, use your money, do the contract, and then still not pay you. And still have some surplus. So I have bond them for that too. Yeah, man.
Fitted, quite frankly, from the uptick in economic activity with the additional taxes on imports. It is vitally important that that budget surplus be used to provide for the most vulnerable in our society. We are now about to commence on the first weekend of the lockdowns, and nothing has been put in place to deal with the most vulnerable. It is Friday, and it is not too late. There are measures that the government can take at this late stage. For example, by making provisions available to members of parliament and councillors, so that even now we can go to suppliers to get food packages for the most vulnerable in our society. That can be done. If the cash can be provided today, a commitment letter can be done from the Ministry of Finance to the Constituency Development Fund, so that we can take those commitment letters to suppliers. Because there are persons who will not be able to survive the 3 days, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, without support. So I'm specifically calling on the government to do something today so that we can make provisions for persons this weekend. And similarly, while there will be more notice for next weekend, to equally make a provision available for next weekend, so that, again, those persons who would have lost income over the 3 days of the lockdown, or who just have been struggling from the beginning of COVID, will be able to have food to eat on the table. I'm very saddened that after the many calls that we have made, beginning in March, very little to nothing has been done to deal with the most vulnerable in our society. The government now has the means, because they have the surplus, to do so. And it is a responsibility of a government to ensure that those who are most vulnerable are taken care of. We're moving into back to school, and even if school is going to be online for most, parents are now burdened with the expenses of not just books, but importantly ensuring that students have an electronic device, either a tablet or a computer. And while the government has made some provision through e-learning and other initiatives, it is woefully inadequate to deal with the majority of students who have not been able to get access to these devices. I want to call again for the removal of the GCT on those electronic devices, so that...
So, me call upon that long time, because, you know, the kids, them people could have donate and get them thing. They, you know, want putting them GCT there and like a stumbling block in the way for the same tablet and this kind of thing, they can help out school kids, man. You understand? Who said the government doing a good job? Just name me which part of the good job what the government do. Yes, sir? You can name one and don't tell me about road, you know. Just tell me which good job what the government do. Yeah? All right? All right.
Persons who are most in need can afford to get these devices. And finally, before I sit, I just want to show you the movement in some of the prices. On your screen, we took some examples of cement price, of hardware prices, and I'll just go for the first one. We looked at food prices, basic items: rice, sugar, flour, oil, chicken back, and honey. And this is just over a 1 year period from last year to this year. And we are seeing price increases from a low of 14% up to 50% for cooking oil in one instance.
Please make them move.
And this is July data. The prices continue to rise even now in August. And just today, I heard where the president of JMEA is projecting that prices will continue to rise because of supply chain issues related to supplies out of China. I also want to show you basic hardware and construction items. Right? Persons who want to fix up their house. If you look at the price of steel, if you look at the price of ply, as an example, ply moved last year from 2,700 to 6,000. And I know if you go to specific hardwares, these prices are higher than that. So
they move from the ply from 2,007 to 6,000. Look much percent that. Let me tell you, look on steel from 85,000 to 141,000. Eh? For the ton of steel. Cement from 950 to 1,000 odd. Just look on the prices, look on the ply. And ply more than that in some places, 8,000, some places are 10,000 and thing. But this is where they move from. Just from the other day. Poor man can't build a house again. You understand? People use it for cars and them to 8,000. Some people are selling it for 10. So when they move it from 2,000, 2,006 and gone, 2,007 gone to 6,000. Eh? Look on the money there. And some are pay 8, some are pay 10,000 feet. Look on the thing there, man. Eh? This a joke. You understand? This a joke.
In our range, cement has been relatively stable, but we're seeing increases that range from a low of 6% for cement up to 122% for ply. And all the other items are over 40%.
Yeah, there.
So I'm saying this within a context where people have lost their income, where we are going into lockdowns. There's diminished opportunity for them to earn. People like a barber, I went to my barber today, 3 days of no income. What happens to a barber hairdresser? We have to reach out to those persons. Many of them, they pay licenses to their municipal corporations. We need to provide some relief for them because they have no alternative. So in summary, I just want to reiterate what the opposition leader has said. We need...
Hold on. Before they move that, look on them. Or one sheet has zinc now $2,000. But you still, when you look on all these things, people know, on a serious note, remember, when I'm on opposition and them talk, even Andrew himself, and the poor hungry and all kind of little things now, yeah? And the taxes move up a lot of things and I hurt people. When you look on a thing like this, just look on the steel, 85 to 141,000 for the same thing. How much percent that gone on it? Percentage? 65 point something percent, 122% per employer alone. In a space of no time, what cement, watch it? The percentage we're going on the thing them. 100% for that down there, so lumber. 2 before 16. I'm going to move and see the money for this. Right, it was 1,370 at 2,700. The money, see there? Everything double. Poor people can't take this, man. They may have sin, man. See? They may have sin. They may have what me have born. So, and I like, and enough of them thing taxes help push it down and the devaluation of the dollar, and the big man make the dollar run way. You understand? And then look on the movements now. If you look on this, just July 2020, by July 2021, everything more 100%, 100% and them thing, they're a joke. A joke.
Need relief now. This weekend, the government can provide through the Ministry of Finance to the Constituency Development Fund.
Hold on, let me say something to you again. Minimum wage are going up now, there, people. The minimum wage are like 7.2. So if a man give you $8,000 you want, you say you do something where you do it. Buy use, buy apply, then when you go back to work. Cause some place are $8,000 and $10,000 for the apply. And not even 6. So if you want one ply, if you want some ply for build a little one room, you cannot do it. Them things are turn now items that you cannot afford. You just cannot afford it. You just have to live in some bush like wild animal. And in some hill. You understand? With some tree, I go live under some tree. You understand? They say them a push people, man. Eh? The government can't carry and them thing and nobody have no work and the thing them a run some man. Eh? It's a foolishness.
A commitment so that MPs and in the case of councillors, they can do something with suppliers to get food packages out so that persons are not starving over this weekend. I also believe the government has to make some consideration about...
Somebody said, don't you know why people are living in a zinc house? Even zinc, see the 10 feet zinc. 10 feet zinc? Well, they 1,300, look how much feet now, 2,000. So even zinc house expensive now. You understand? So if you live in a zinc house, you have to have the whole zinc them way, and it have pay hole where you go pick up when you good again, where it bore up, and then you just make a zinc house. If lightning strike, you just strike in that and rust. Eh? Yeah, man, like a oven. Eh? Them thing are evil, man. Them people not for no poor people, man. Eh? And preach and for the poor and this happen. Look how the thing a go up. Just look, each time a man win and come in, just look when them a come in and look on the same things how much it used to cost, and by now look how much it costs. You know what I go on.
Small corner shops in communities. The majority of Jamaicans cannot afford to go to a supermarket to buy up for 3 days. They're not in a fridge to do that. They don't have the resources to do that. They're still going to have to buy what the money can do for today. And then come Sunday, if they have another money, they have to go back and buy it again. Some provision has to be made for those small corner shops in communities to remain open for a limited period to allow people to be able to eat. Thank you.
Thank you very much, MP Robinson. And the next person that you will hear from is Dr. Morris Guy. He's joining us virtually, and so now we turn our attention to the Zoom platform. Dr. Guy.
Thank you very much, Dr. Campbell. Good morning, members of the media. Good morning, Jamaica. The health sector in this country is in dire straits. We've seen where upwards of 900 persons have been admitted to the hospital being treated for COVID-19. We've seen where images have come out in the national landscape where people have been sitting on chairs, getting oxygen, sitting on the tents, even when grace was passing through this country. We have noticed where the head of the Western Regional Health Authority has said that inadequate PPEs are there for the nursing and the medical staff, hence the reason for some of our frontline health workers coming down with COVID-19. The spokesman on finance made mention of the fact that there are many suppliers to hospitals who have not been paid. Suppliers including food suppliers who have been owed money for months. And we have seen where there are reports coming out of some hospitals of shortage of oxygen. We cannot go back to a situation we had during the second phase when many people suffered as a consequence of these inadequacies. Yet, we are assured by the Ministry of Health and Wellness that adequate provisions had been made for PPEs, for oxygen, for the number of doctors, and to get additional staff to help in the hospital sector. Our country, our people are and will continue to suffer because we are only seeing the early rise of the third phase. We are going to be seeing a lot more. And as we have been told 2 days ago, that Delta was discovered in samples. And interestingly, ladies and gentlemen, samples that were taken from the month from
July.
the first week of July.
So you see when them free up the thing in the last month, right? Make sure you how them work now. Them free up them thing. Them know what them are doing now. Them have sample from the first week of July, and it come back positive. But them just feel for tell you because when them do that, because through the Rick Cafe where they keep, and them now want nobody say boom boom. Them say the Delta boom bam bam and I go like it no reach yet. But you still them a go back on if you listen when people talk, Cause when them go back, come here when them a talk, Come I watch them yesterday. At the first week in a July, them have the Delta variant in the place. You understand? So it about from the first week of July, and them not say you think them wanna know. Cause if it do so boom boom, them know say this and that and that and this a strain and what have you. But them not say nothing, them just make it stay and make it run for a month, couple week, and then them tell us oh it reached Jamaica now, we have 40 thing and I go on like it crazy. From the first week, them know. Just listen this. Them know. Them know what am I doing Listen this.
The third phase. We are going to be seeing a lot more. And as
Somebody does say look a while. Me just say somebody does say something. When them does say look a while. Because me tell them say we don't play politics, but we depend this, Linda? Okay. Yeah, put back PNP in power. People is going to suffer. But tell me what now. And about put back PNP in power, Because people now go roll with Andrew, People still now roll with Andrew, So them have to put somebody in a power. Make a next party or something. But we can't keep Andrew either. So no like put back PNP. People are suffer. People are suffer now. And worse than before. So we can't keep Andrew. Andrew have deal with badmanship. We know that with him. I better want to build the next party and do something. You understand? But to what keep Andrew? You're mad?
have been told 2 days ago that Delta was discovered in samples. And interestingly, ladies and gentlemen, samples that were taken from the first week of July, which means that if you follow the science, an incubation period of 14 days, it means that Delta was here
From June.
In June of this year.
Thank you.
Now, we are seeing that as a consequence of Delta being...
Because July and them keep it. And not say nothing to nobody. And then once about third wave, because them know are the tourists where them are carrying in place. You understand? This are all them dishonest to people. Saying? And then yes, police are take up people and I put them in a thing because you don't have a mask. Them did a deal with that thing when they herd immunity. Like people are idiot. Saying? Government can't say evil, man.
In its action in opening the economy as a consequence of the government giving its imprimatur to these huge super spreaders that the country is now suffering. The solution that the PNP is suggesting now are manifold. The leader of the opposition made mention of vaccination, which we are all on board about. All of our members of parliament, that is from the lower house and those who sit in the Senate, have been vaccinated. We have and we continue to implore our constituents to be vaccinated. We have been assured, as the leader of the opposition said, that there is sufficient vaccine, as told to us by the government, to start the process of trying to get all persons vaccinated. There's this notion going around that the PNP has never supported the government in terms of the vaccination program. And I want to put that lie to rest because this party has been at the forefront. We have never been invited except for a couple of days ago when I was invited. But as a party, we have never been invited to be part of this. But
when you hear them thing, the opposition, the one never come that long time. We have a duty to come meet the people. Remember when I work for the people, them too, Because if it's a one-party thing with a turn China, so the Xi Jinping or young Xi Jinping just do what them want do and it's okay. You can't have an opposition where you have your peer and you're not invited and you not inform the public about these things. Make we straighten it out. You see me, I tell us up here, Gorilla Glue did that one. Till me just burn up everything. Till them feel like come out, come talk now. You see it? Them not invited and we not say nothing.
Always been there, assisting, helping, because at the end of the day, it is Jamaica we're fighting for as a political party. The health of Jamaica, we're fighting for. Secondly, one of the things we need to do as well, and I'm sure our spokesman on transportation will speak to the gatherings that take place in the transportation sector. We need also to ensure that our persons who are tested, that they get the results on a timely basis. We cannot have tests being outstanding for 10 and 14 days, particularly in a time when we have this virulent strain of the Delta virus going around. This is the example that we have been seeing as indicated to us by many persons, and I know of it personally occurring. The matter as it relates to the Pfizer vaccine, which is to be administered to our children, we are supportive of it. But we are asking the Ministry of Health to ensure that the cold chain is not broken. Because if you do that, you run the risk at the end of the day of giving our children vaccine which has not been properly stored. So we are appealing to the Ministry of Health and Wellness to ensure that that cold chain is maintained from the refrigeration to the arms of our children to ensure that they are properly protected. Now, the question that needs to be asked, and whilst we appreciate the fact that the government has decided to do a lockdown and how it is done, and as the leader said, it is skating on thin ice to do how it is being done. 2 weeks of lockdown will only arrest the spread of the COVID-19. It may very well be that the government after this 2 weeks will decide another 2 weeks of lockdown as well, because it will need sufficient time for the virus to start spreading, to stop spreading. We have seen where the positivity rates have been high, and we have seen where the reproductive rate is at 1.4, which is significantly high. We need to below 1. So at this point in time, ladies and gentlemen, the country is in for a rough ride as it relates to COVID-19. And the numbers are going to get higher and higher. Unfortunately, as we have seen, the deaths have been increasing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Guy. Let me say, I see Senator Mountain is now online when we get to the questioning, just in case there's a question for him. I'll now invite
I want to hear this now.
Paulwell to come and make his present.
Colleagues, members of the media, I shall be brief because in relation to petroleum prices, we have been monitoring these on a weekly basis as the prices are published by Petrojam. We are seeing the highest price of petroleum products in the history of our country. Just monitoring between July and August, we have seen upwards of 40% in some of the products. And the fact of the matter is that these prices that are published by Petrojam are not the final prices. To these prices are added margins from the marketing companies and also margins from the retailers. You can go and see prices of over $200 per liter on a number of the products today. A most significant, and I'll just focus a little bit on gasoline 87. We've seen a price movement of 41% since July to July last year to August 19 of this year.
All right, remember me I talk about the same tax where them put on and thing. When you just listen. You see them come out, we have to draw them out, you know, because I remember we done telling about this, you know. Saying? But just listen.
And then we have, and these again are the Petrojam prices to which
Petrojam price, what percentage?
Marketing companies' margins and the retailers' margin. Gasoline 90, we have seen a price movement of 43%.
43%.
Of course, the poor people fuel, kerosene, we have seen a 41% increase
41.
in those prices from last year to now. I want to just focus briefly on the issue of taxation and why I believe that some aspects of it are unconscionable. There are three items that comprise taxation for petroleum products.
Want to listen to your item. Remember we are talking about the tax. Now you come explain about the tax so me a burn out. Wait, could I just go right across the board and better for everybody. The government them put it on and them keep it there. That's why the thing them so high. And then you cripple that with the valuation of the dollar and everything. Them can't tell me nothing. Them have to come talk my language now, don't? Eh? Listen.
The hedge, you have, and from the hedge, we realize about $6 or $7 billion in revenues. There's a special consumption tax, and there is an ad valorem special consumption tax. I should point out that since 2016, the government has used this tax to offset the losses that they suffered due to that 1.5% incentive that they had proclaimed. In relation to the hedge, this has been a most unconscionable aspect of the taxation because the hedge was established for a special purpose. For example, if last year the government had used the hedge money to purchase fuel when the price per barrel was below $20, then it would have been a proper use of the hedge. It's an insurance, so you'd make those purchases. So today, we as consumers would benefit because the price of fuel is now at over $70 per barrel. So we have missed an opportunity, and the Minister of Finance must accept responsibility for that. But beyond that, to maintain the hedge at this time is most unfair and unconscionable. And
so we must say now, the same tax so me I tell them for move long time. Instead they talk about raise up taxi fare and bus fare and poor people and them things, they will not have it already. You move back the same money where you say you put on the figure, you use the money to fill in some gap and you use it. Them more than one of them taxes them put on, you know. Them use one of them gas tax there. Like I said the edge, one of them can them have used it for fix infrastructure. Them never use it. Them use it to something else. See? And them continue. Them that get things and pictures and they use the money they do different things to man. And from Venezuela thing when we get the oil from them and them we pay them like how much years can pay them after. See? We use them money. Be that thing them go on with, you know. See? So, but everything work out that the poor suffer and feel it. You understand? You don't have nothing in the country, but every year them raise tax. And the money devalue, so automatically tax go up because if you used to pay $10 for your light bill, and when the money devalue, JPS go off for the valuation of the dollar, of the US, based off of US. So now watch the devaluation based off of US to care what happens. So automatically, them are gonna charge more, plus more in the taxes. So if them are charge the money going up, the thing going up to $20, plus tax, a bigger tax you have to pay. Government no mind. Them not there for poor people, man. Them there for earth, man.
Asking that tax, as it is not being used for the purpose, be returned to the consumers. And for there to be a rational review of all the taxes that are applicable.
Yeah.
In that liter of fuel that we purchase, more than half of it represents taxation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, MP Paulwell, for being very candid and to the point. I think everyone can understand the points that you have made succinctly. We'll now hear from MP and the shadow spokesperson for transportation, Nikki.
Morning, everyone. As been expressed before, and we had released quite a few press statements showing our concern, expressing our concern on the transport sector. Transport sector is one of those that the Ministry of Health has expressed and stated is a super spreader in the fight towards COVID. We have been concerned with the tightening of the hours that our transport centers and our transport sector have not been given the attention that it should have been. With the implementation of new fares, we have seen that the sector itself, there has been some confusion within the sector. And we ask the question, where is the Minister of Transport? Which rock is he hiding under?
Well, remember when it just come from under rock too, you know. Because girl like glue and the whole one and then the rock. At the first, come together thing this you now do. And you ask, but a man hide him under the rock, yeah. But when under the rock, you should have come out and attack all these things long time. Because we have fear about them. I'm born on too. Do you understand?
It is due time that the Minister of Transport comes to the people, not only the sector, but to the transport sector and the Jamaican people, to show some leadership in a sector that is showing some chaos at this point in time. As my colleagues have expressed, we have stated time and time again that this is not ordinary times, and that we think that the government should step in to reduce not only the cost to the consumer, the traveling public, but also to those who have invested in the transport sector. The fare increase that has been given to the transport sector, it is obvious that there was no thought to it. We have stated before that we think that the minimum wage, which that report should have been sent to the government from last year, January, and which has not been implemented, should be done hand in hand with an increase so that poor people can at least afford the increase in the bus fares that have been implemented by the government. But also, the minister on the Thursday implemented or notified the country that there was going to be a fare increase. On the Sunday is when the Transport Authority sent out a schedule of what the fare increases ought to be, but with no public education taking place, which created some chaos in the system. Again, we're asking the Prime Minister that if this minister is not up to the task, because as it is now, if you go out into Halfway Tree or into Mandeville Town, you will see the chaos that is taking place at the transport centers or even in the taxis or the buses that these citizens have to travel in. But also is that we want to say to the government that you have a responsibility, especially in the Kingston metropolitan region, where the JUTC is concerned. You have been coming out hard and fast against the transport operators, the route taxes, the hackney carriage, but yet still the JUTC is in breach of its own license. If the Jamaica Urban Transit Company, which is a government-owned entity, was able to provide the adequate seating that it is licensed to, we would not have this chaos in the KMTR in the transport system. So again, we say to the Prime Minister, if this minister is not up to the task, find another one. If not, you need to sit with the transport sector and deal with the matters that are causing the chaos in the system at this point in time. I thank you.
Thank you very much, MP Phillips. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point in time, we're going to take questions from the media. Just before, I want to read a quote, and it says, "The difference between listening and pretending to listen is enormous. Real listening is a willingness to let the other person change you. When I'm willing to let them change me, something happens between us that's more interesting than a pair of dwelling monologues." And that's from Alan Alda. When we have a determined position that is defiant, not even the Holy Spirit will be able to change us. And I'm saying that because the opposition has been very consistent in making its points, and I want for the government to start listening and not only pretend to listen. The leader has spoken.
Them say the opposition consistent. You know, consistent because we're missing in action. The opposition consistently missing in action. That's the right word, okay. So when you come out and you come make a point, because we have to fling some fire for you come make a point. But all I want to get paid. I want to should do the people them job. Point out all these things. Them not invite you know, burn it, make one know. You understand? Don't say you're consistent. Missing in action, consistent in missing in action. Okay? Respect.
And the other spokespersons have, and they are now willing to take the questions. I'm told that CVM will start Ms. Williams?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Are you hearing me? Yes?
Yes.
All right. So just to be clear, the main objection that is to the government's 7 days of lockdown is that no comprehensive program of relief has been sorted out for the people. That's the main objection.
Yeah, that is a principal objection. Clearly, we regret that the situation has reached a point where we're having to be going to 7 days of no movement. And, that is as a result of the decision that the government took at the beginning of July. It is what it is. A response is necessary. One could approach that response in a variety of ways. The government has made a decision as to how it thinks the response should go. Our main concern is that response completely ignores the realities on the ground and how people will be impacted by that. And we've outlined the many ways in which that would be very, very painful and difficult for many, many people. We've also suggested some modifications, for example, allowing access to corner shops in communities during the no movement days for specific periods of time.
Maurice, let me just add something to that, You say in America the government help you. Because you have government to do that. In Jamaica, the people the government help who? Them help themselves. You forgot that part there. If you make your thing, make sure you see me I say help who they want to help. No man, them help themselves. And 1 and 2 look yes man, themselves them help. Billions missing. Them should have in the egg. You understand? Each year you see them come out, them turn fat cat with people money, taxpayers' money.
Many people have to shop on a daily basis because they do not have the income to stock up in advance. These are the sort of things we need to see some flexibility around, but our primary problem with it is that it is just going to expose the vulnerable people of the country to more sufferation.
But them right there saying it expose them because if you lock up for a 3 day, I remember that food not there. It have to come with a little packet and say, okay, we're going to try to reach some food there. So all the man them are going to stay in, all them people there are going to eat. You have a government or business about nothing like that. And me I see money all over the place so them get from all kind of foreign country and them not donate nothing at all and keep it. It don't make no sense. You see me I say it don't make no sense.
And thank you, Leader. And the Ministry of Health, when they do a lockdown, they have to also go into these hot areas and do proper testing and contact tracing. It's not just to lock down the community and not do anything, right? Who is next? Okay, if there are no questions, that means that everything was properly understood. And let me thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen of the media. Thank you very much, leader and spokespersons. Have a good day. Please be safe. If you have not done so already, we encourage you to go out and get vaccinated and to adhere to the rules and the protocols from the Ministry of Health. God bless you and have a good afternoon.
If you say God bless Jamaica today. Yeah, man. Yeah. So you see me have to fling some fire. When I fling the fire now, it make them run out now, because too much gorilla glue and it has stick up too much. You see me I say? I mean just see one of them say, the Ministry of transport missing what them say? Hide under rock? No man, the opposition hide under rock, man. You know they don't hide about the whole opposition, you never see them, them hide under rock. And then they must say some things now where some things where I remember the people them want to work for. Now get paid on a shadow cabinet ministers and things, shadow cabinet. When they come out, shadow spokesperson, shadow cabinet, shadow spokesperson for push ministry. When they come out and make the people them know what go on. If them keep out of something, make the people them know. You understand? It can't be you just sit down and just say, boy, them do this, and the people them not know. You understand? When you come out and come talk now, them know, we don't force them to come talk. And so we know so we get value for our money, but we not get no value for our money. One man do things and him not bringing in and nothing and put one side and one of those foot on and put on. And not even people put gorilla glue on the lip. I want to gorilla glue up on oneself. We not a doctor, find a way to pull it, man. Now I want doctor find a way for pull it, man. But anyway, it's a start. Because I found them wicked the other day again. All of them. See? When you come out and come talk, when I talk, when I get paid for do these things. When in any margin house, you know, because you have something with them I swear for the secrecy against Jamaican people. And yes, we're a nuclear country when they're not war with nobody. That means when them sit down and them plan, we don't know what they're going to do to it. When they sit down there and make them listen to the plan and not say nothing to it. I joke this. We shouldn't have no secrecy in any margin house neither. Let's have some pirate thing on our plan. You understand? Yeah, man. So you see, we have to chat to them that way and draw them out, you know. So them come out to feel good when them come out because we want to hear them. It can't be, it's an agent thing and it's a one-party system because we're not like a dictatorship thing there. And you have to come out and you see something not right and you come point it out to the people. This not right, that not right. This not right, that not right. This not right and make us take them on. You understand? But when you keep so quiet, them say them about a little thing they feel nearly 1 year now. Number what? August. That's around how much months around 9 months. See? When you sit down there and not say nothing to you, we're gonna know what we're gonna do. Eh? You have to make a run out, come make a vice bird and them things. But never see them cheer and pressure them. You know you have some other little things like this, you know. When if you have more of this and start make the people them know what's going on. You understand? Yeah, maybe somebody want to know about keep them, yeah man. But this, remember, see where to keep there. Just crack it here. Yeah, see where to keep and see that, yeah man. So when I clock it here, yeah man. Yeah man. Autumn fest man. You see me I say? Yeah man. You see me I say? Yeah. Yeah man. So when I just clock it here. Yeah man, alright. Yeah man. See my brother just say boom bam 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 and ticket. Hey, I pay people in a BF ticket already, you know, so I pay my people them. All from UK and them thing, the man. Who now make it, who I make it, everybody still I say yeah, Lonesome, boom bam bam. So when I see the thing, yeah? Alright? Yeah man. Autumn Fest, it's a nice, you know. You see the time, when I see the time too. Time? Beautiful man. Up. You see me I say? Yeah man. Things up here. Alright? Cool. But there, you know, remember Autumn Fest. I remember the boat ride that sell out already, you know, that closed off. So Autumn Fest, you know, the 25th. So watch out for this, yeah? All right. I remember, as I tell them already, you know, enough people, because you know, everybody, my phone I got lock off, man. See, so everybody a nice time. I know it's all, because the real people, them not the place. I know it's all. You see me, I say Autumn Fest, straight. All right? Yeah, man. All right. We're up here. All right. Bless. Later. Up.